This scene right here is the most nefarious scene in the entire Spider-Man trilogy. Mary Jane is just a straight up in these movies. I'll explain. So first off, before that, she is stupid. Let's just get that out the way. Specifically for this scene.
Well, let me buy you a cheeseburger. The sky's the limit, up to $7.84.
She just heard this dude speak, right? Mere minutes later, Spider-Man just so happens to be in this random area next to this specific alley. She halfway makes note of that.
I think I have a superhero stalker.
I was in the neighborhood.
But somehow didn't make the full connection. Okay. But even before that, at this part, look, I understand in the beginning of this movie, the thing with MJ and Peter is the whole they've been living right next to each other and she doesn't even really notice him sort of thing.
Hey, MJ. I don't know if you realize this, but we've been neighbors since I was 6, and I was wondering if maybe...
Hey, you have blue eyes. I didn't notice without your glasses. You just get contacts?
I mean, if it's to that extent and they've been living next to each other since the 4th grade, that is rough. But to me, that's not an excuse for you to not recognize him here. Including this scene, as far as this movie goes, that's 4 times you've been right up in his face before this part. 3 of those times you had a lengthy convo with him while looking right at him. I don't care how dark and rainy it may be in this scene, bro is looking directly at you. This is more than close enough for you to recognize that as Peter. Just imagine in your own life a person you've had multiple lengthy convos with in such a short time span staring and standing that close to you. Like what, 7-8 feet? Come on, son, that is ridiculous. But anyway, let's look at what she's done throughout these movies. Starts off dating Flash, already a bad start, and that should have been the first and final clue to Pete that he should stay away from this person, but they're kids, so sure. Poor judgment, excused, I guess. MJ breaks up with him, which is good, but notice the timing of when she does it. This is important, so I'm gonna come back to it later. Some time passes, she starts dating Harry, which is fine. He's a bit of a dick to her, but you know, whatever. In that rain scene, when she kisses Spider-Man, she's actually with Harry at that point, so that is cheating. And why are you kissing what in your mind appears to be a complete stranger?
That's weird.
Skipping ahead to the Thanksgiving dinner, Norman leaves and insults MJ.
Harry, please, look at her.
You think a woman like that sniffing around because she likes your personality? Do what you need to with her, then broom her fast.
She says,
Thanks for sticking up for me, Harry.
okay, but if you heard him, that means you definitely heard Harry say,
This girl is important to me.
and
You're wrong about her, Dad.
so he did defend you, clown. Her stupidity is showing again. Later on in the movie, MJ and Peter are in the hospital and get caught holding hands by Harry. That's cheating. Twice now in one movie, with 2 separate guys as far as her current perspective goes. Now we're at the end of the movie. MJ confesses to Peter that she loves him. It took an entire movie runtime's worth of her dubbing him, acting like dude didn't spill his heart out to her on 2 separate occasions for her to act on it. And the 2 people she dated before she got to him were his high school bully and his best and only friend on top of that. The person he hated the most and the person he loved the most. What type of sick and twisted shit is this woman on, yo? And listen to how she confesses that shit to him.
There was only one person who I was thinking of. And it wasn't who I thought it'd be.
It wasn't who I thought it'd be? Maybe I'm tripping, but fam, is this not an insult? I want y'all to imagine somebody looking in your eyes and telling you they didn't think they'd be thinking of you when it came to dating. Like it genuinely shocked and puzzled them that you'd be an option in their head. This is such a wild thing to say to somebody. Why would you think this is a compliment? What is wrong with her? Okay, so who did you think it would be? Probably Flash again, because your brain is broken. Go to him then. Leave Peter alone. Moving on to Spider-Man 2. MJ is getting married to an astronaut guy, which is cool. Peter gets in her head twice, and like everyone thought she would, she folds. Moving on to the cafe, MJ tells Peter she actually wants him instead. Third time cheating. Peter has second thoughts and rejects the idea of them being together, but of course, she can't just take no for an answer and go home to the man that just proposed to her. MJ then straight up asks Peter if he loves her. Cheating. He says no. That's two no's now, but no means no clearly means nothing to MJ, so she pushes even further and tells Peter to kiss her, and then doubles down when Peter rightfully questions it. He doesn't even give an answer, not that it would have mattered anyway had he given one. Then comes this crazy ass, evil ass shot. These dudes got joyous music swelling over this shot like it's a good thing. This is horrible. Man, look at the ring. Maximum evil. MJ doing this right after she was just like this with her man is super nuts.
I'm back on the moon.
Oh my God. Moving on to the end of the movie. MJ is at her wedding, except she isn't because what happened? She abandons this poor guy at the altar, number one. Like, first off, that's beyond despicable. No excusing that. Second, she does it to cheat again. I don't care that she left him a note to let him know what she did. She couldn't even muster the balls to do it herself. She sent someone else out to do it for her. Now, earlier in the video, I told you to take notice of the timing of when she broke up with Flash. Look familiar? What kind of sick-minded person you gotta be to wait until the greatest day of someone's life to break up with them? And then to do it twice. Is this woman a secret supervillain or something? Because to her, it don't matter if you're a bad guy or a good guy, Mary Jane will publicly embarrass you by breaking up with you at an important milestone of your life, surrounded by a crowd to bear witness. The next milestone is having kids, so it's going to be a real rude awakening when the poor soul that has a kid with her gets blindsided when she decides to break up with him as soon as he gets the newborn in his hands after a successful delivery. And again, with the music in the background of a horrible act. And before this, look at how worried he was and eager to get to her to make sure she's safe, just for her to be staring at another man while in his embrace. Lord have mercy. So in Spider-Man 3, Peter and MJ are unfortunately still together. They have their issues, but that's fine because you know, what relationship doesn't? There's only one act of villainy in this movie from her. Not even gonna say it with any sort of shock or anything. She cheats on Peter with Harry. What do you even want me to say at this point, bruh? Peter pretty much deserves her at this point. You had at least two better options in Gwen and Ursula. Ursula made you a cake and fed you chocolate chip cookies. Let me ask y'all a question. When, in any of these movies, did you see Mary Jane actually do anything for anybody she was with? Ursula was baking for that dude. What did Mary Jane bake? Nothing!
What?
Not a goddamn thing. Then she breaks up with Peter, but only because she had to be forced to do it by Harry. She then totally admits that it wasn't just falling in love with someone else, she kissed him. Speaking of Harry, just real quick, Harry is an idiot. When MJ gets home after another long day of being unfaithful, Harry pops up to choke her and says,
If you want Peter to live, you're gonna do something for me.
why did this even work? Shouldn't you have said if she wants to live? You just got your memories back, so you should remember the last time y'all fought, you took Peter by total surprise and were trying your absolute hardest to actually kill him to no avail, just for him to go on the offensive and one-shot you with a clothesline. And you got comboed by vents and a dumpster on the way down. Clonked on the head so hard, he had you living in ignorant bliss, absolute heaven for days, looking stupid in the face. That's who you think you're gonna kill? And speaking of Peter, now I gotta get to him, because looking back on it, he's not that good of a person either. Earlier in the video, I talked about Peter spilling his heart out to Mary Jane. Both of the times he did that, she was in a relationship, and Peter 1000% knew that to be the case each time. That's 2 counts of homewrecking. 3 in the same movie because she was with Harry when he kissed her as Spider-Man. Spider-Man 2, I mentioned that Peter got in her head twice. It may have worked, but that's still 2 more counts of homewrecking. This one is wild as hell because you just saw them together for the first time, and the instant you caught her alone, you start spitting poetry at her?
Day by day, he gazed upon her. Day by day, he sighed with passion.
While he's still in the same building as you? Now we're at Spider-Man 3, at the parade scene. Peter straight up cheats on MJ when he kisses Gwen, like there's no way around that one. To make it worse, Peter tries to roll over it by proposing to her like it didn't even happen. No discussion beforehand, just cheat and then propose. That is just straight up scumbag behavior. And speaking of the parade scene, Sandman makes an entrance as this sand cloud, right? Everyone at the parade is scared of this thing that seems to move with actual intent. But would anyone, including Spider-Man, deduce that a sand cloud would turn into a human with colors not originally in the cloud that can talk? Like, the only supervillain Spider-Man fought prior were Green Goblin, basically a psycho super soldier, and Doc Ock, a guy with metal arms. Both pretty simple concepts to understand. I know Sandman comes from the science of this universe, but this is relatively supernatural in comparison. At most, when Spider-Man got to the truck, he'd come to the conclusion that it was like nanobots being controlled by this guy to help with the heist or something. I know that was a lot of setup, but I say all that to ask this question. Why did Spider-Man punch him like this? Like I said before, I do not believe that Spider-Man would have deduced that this was this man. So for all he knows, this could be a regular thug. A fully cocked back blow like this from Spider-Man is a kill shot. He punched him like he knew this was going to happen. Like, in another world, this is a Mortal Kombat fatality. He just so happened to luck out in this one. I 100% believe this is one of those scenes made just because it's a cool idea. And it does look cool. I love this part of the movie. But at the same time, that part has bothered me for a while. Final thing I'll touch on before I close out this video. Dugan, or whatever the fuck this nigga's name is, deserves to be executed on the spot for this, and I am dead serious.
If I may, sir, I've seen things in this house I've never spoken of. The night your father died, I cleaned his wound. The blade that pierced his body came from his glider. I loved your father as I have loved you, Harry, as your friends love you.
This dude basically said, I knew from the jump how your dad died, but for reasons unknown to even myself, I withheld that information while I silently, butlerly watched you spiral into absolute, genuine madness for half a decade. I let it boil over to the point that your best buddy got his generational sins of the father parallel pumpkin bomb payback and damn near blew half your face off. I was in the home when that happened, hearing you struggle and scream, but even then, I did nothing. I made sure to wait until I was positively sure you were irredeemable. Let it get so bad that even if you survive this upcoming battle, you'll most likely kill yourself because of your disfigured face as well as the crushing weight of all the pain you've caused that I directly could have stopped, but I didn't because, I don't know. I made sure to play soft violins and horns in the background so you're not as mad at me when I tell you. Fam, if I was Harry and I heard this nigga Ralph say that straight gobbledygook, I would have just stared at that boy for a solid 15 seconds and then hit him with one of these.
That don't work. There's no way out of this one. You're done.
And then I would have just